You are welcome back to African Colonization TV and Biafran History. Today's date is 12th February 2026. We go say it don't happen again. It don't happen again. According to the news reaching to us, they say breaking. U.S. judge orders release of Tinubu criminal record. Is this the end of Nigerian president? That is the headline. According to what is going on now, the U.S. government, they have ordered the release of Tinubu criminal record. Now, every section, they are now asking questions concerning the issue of drug and the issue, this $900 million he paid the lobbyist for them to close the case, for them to close this issue of genocide that is going on in Nigeria. In fact, the God is fighting for the people of Nigeria. The God is fighting for the Nigerian people, because according to what is going on in Nigeria today, his government is shaking. The government is shaking. So in this video, don't skip any part of it. Try to watch it to the end, because in this news, this man and this lady, he explained everything concerning things that is going on in between the Tinubu government and in between Nigeria, because the way everything is going, everybody is now seeing the whole thing, how this government is now paying the US for them to close all those things that is going on in Nigeria. Both the issue of his criminal record concerning the drug, the result, and every other thing that is going on. So everybody knows what is happening in Nigeria. But as for the government of Nigeria, they are doing all their means, all their best to close everything for the case should not come up. For the case should not come up. That is what they are doing. And now, Trump has ordered they should go back to the case. They should revisit that judgment, and then they should give him feedback of everything that is happening between that issue of drug, money laundering, and the rest of them. So don't skip any part of the video. Try to watch to the end for you to understand everything going on in the video. It's about to watch, like, subscribe, and make sure you share the video to go and let others see things going on in Nigeria.
To me, I have not seen somebody that entered the house through the window and start arranging the house. Start sweeping the house. Somebody that entered through the window, we start mopping the house, cleaning the house. Even not all people that enter through the door can clean the house. Not to talk of somebody that entered through the window. Well, I will not say more than that. I want you to listen by yourself. Listening to this, you are going to hear everything that you need to hear. Everything don't bust. So I'm not sure that 2027 may even work out for him, but let's see what happens. But everything revolves around that 2027. Yes, there is target. Everything has expiring dates. Some people may be doing something and be escaping, but everything has expiry date. Just watch.
This evening, first of all, this breaking story is the fact that a United States judge, Beryl A. Howell, has criticized the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, and the Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, for what she described as deliberate delay tactics aimed at obstructing the release of records related to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The records are being sought under a 2022 Freedom of Information Act, a request filed by Transparency Advocate Aaron Greenspan with support from investigative journalist David Hunday. Judge Howell of the United States of America District Court for the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. on February 3, 2026 rebuked both agencies for repeatedly stalling the release of Tinubu's records, which are expected to shed light on a narcotics-related case from the early 1990s that resulted in Tinubu forfeiting $460,000 to the U.S. government. Greenspan, the CEO of Transparency Platform Plainsight, filed the FOIA request in June 2022. That's Freedom of Information Act request in June 2022. In her ruling, Howell said the FBI and the DEA had failed to honor court deadlines, with persistent postponements causing the case to drag on for more than 3 years without meaningful progress. She subsequently issued fresh deadlines, warning that further delays would not be tolerated. In 2023, the FBI announced plans plans to release about 2,500 pages of Tinubu's records in monthly tranches of 500 pages. However, the process was stalled after Tinubu opposed the disclosure and requested a delay pending the outcome of a Supreme Court case in Nigeria challenging his election victory. Tinubu argued that premature disclosure would adversely affect him. He says it is going to terribly affect him if those results are released. Although Judge Howell approved the temporary delay at the time and Tinubu's election was later upheld, the FBI and DEA continue to seek extensions, further slowing the release of records linked to long-standing allegations of involvement in cocaine trafficking case. Tinubu's allegations the president has consistently denied through his team of lawyers. According to court findings, the FBI was expected to submit an updated status report in May 2025, but delayed the process until January 2026 when it sought another extension to February, a request that drew sharp criticism from the court. Now, basically, Judge Howell also rejected the DEA's claim that it could release some documents while withholding others for more than 6 months on the grounds that they were undergoing consultation with other agencies. The judge ordered the DEA to provide Greenspan with a Vaughan index explaining the basis for redacting 50 pages and withholding 172 pages of President Tinubu's records. She further directed the agency to submit sworn affidavits detailing page by page when the remaining documents were sent out for consultation, expected timelines for review, and steps taken to speed up the process. Judge Howell also ordered the FBI to file sworn statements explaining its repeated failure to meet court deadlines and directed the Bureau to release all non-exempt records related to President Tinubu, beginning with an initial batch promised within 2 weeks of January 30, 2026. The FBI has also been additionally instructed to submit a detailed timetable showing how it plans to release the second batch of 500 pages by the 13th of March and complete a full disclosure by the 1st of June 2026. They also ordered the FBI and DEA to submit joint status reports every 14 days starting from February 27 until all responsive records are processed and released. All the redacted files, all the names, all the documents redacted have been asked to be released to Aaron Greenspan. It's going to be released in batches. So starting from the 27th of this month till June this month, all the pages on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's case of since the 1990s have been asked to be released. We do not know what his legal team would do between now and then. The last time the president was undergoing the what do you call it, the election inquiry, when they were reviewing all the election cases, and that was when obviously David Hundeyin, Aaron Greenspan, Atiku Abubakar brought up the case about his resort. The president and his legal team had said that the release of those records will actually affect him, being the fact that it may affect his credibility since INEC had already announced him, but the outcome of the elections were being questioned in court. So while that process was ongoing, they had to stall that case. Afterwards, the FBI said they were going to release about 2,500 of the records by October 2023, thereabout. And by October 2023, they released some pages, about 500 pages, but a lot of redacted statements were there. We've also heard that the president is an agent or an asset or something, so which also compelled the FBI and the CIA not to release some of the documents pertaining to the president, being the fact that being sworn in by INEC as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, possibly for his image or for his reputation. But the case is still in court. We had testimonials, we had rebuttals, and Elnora Daniel, who was said to be the principal of the school in Chicago, had once promised to sue President Tinubu, but after a while we didn't hear anything from Elnora Daniels anymore. So the case is still pending, and now the court has mandated the DEA and the FBI to release those records as soon as possible, that the delay is too much, and they've been asked to release it as early as on the 27th of this month, and giving them a timeline through which all the documents will be released to Aaron Greenspan. The question is, of what significance would that document prove now? What would it be? The president is confident that by 2027 he will be re-elected. In fact, he has set up a preamble for an economic process and economic progress, a diagram from 2026 to 2030. The president has hailed his administration, hailed the vice president for the economic blueprint, said Nigeria is doing well after for a very long time, stated that an alternative will be provided to handle and tackle insecurity, stated that, the naira, the floating of the naira, and obviously the removal of fuel subsidy enabled the government of the day in its economic trajectory, and also hailed Olayemi Cardoso, the CBN governor, for most of the prerequisites he set up, in terms of the ratings and the exchange rate, basically, which obviously the president overwhelmingly complimented. It's a 2-day event between today and tomorrow. So while Nigerians were protesting at the National Assembly ground, the president was having a meeting with a couple of economic meeting, actually, with close associates, and thinking about 2026 to 2030. The president is very optimistic that his administration has done well in every form that you can look at it, and he's also very hopeful that he will win the 2027 elections. And now they've released a blueprint ahead of that. Now Nigerians are asking the question, if the president is already looking ahead, despite all the myriad of challenges, insecurity every day, nobody knows if they're going to be alive the following day. The president is looking ahead as to how he intends to map out Nigeria's economic plan and see how he would implore his nominees and ministers, all of them, to see how they can work together in achieving that blueprint. A lot of questions are being asked by Nigerians. Number one, what's your certainty about 2027? Will there be a nation by 2027? Will the insecurity challenges currently bedeviling the country? You've not addressed it. You've not addressed the nation. You've not spoken well. You've actually asked everyone to be patient. In fact, the slogan is, relax, Tinubu will fix it. Relax, Tinubu is fixing it. And they're asking the president, how long will it take you to fix it? Are we all going to die before you fix it? Is your policy more into politics or into administration? We need answers. And with the protests that took place today, those were the questions were being asked. Also, the National Assembly is being questioned as to either represent the interests of the people or if they only represent their own personal pockets, if they only look at themselves. A lot of issues are coming up. Another thing we'll also slightly consider this evening is the Epstein files. A lot of documents have been released in Epstein files that includes a couple of Nigerians who were named in that particular document, and how they intend to use some Nigerian women for fertility purposes, experimental purposes. Now, we've known the increase in organ harvesting across the country. We don't know who are those harvesting these organs, but there's a black market that is thriving with organ harvesting. Kidnappers kidnap people. The first thing they want to do is to harvest people's organs. It's been going on for quite a long time. There's a major syndicate that is specializing on it. So the reason why a lot of Nigerians were looking into the Epstein files is this what it is? They said they're going to look into the bodies of the women and say that they have curvy or attributes that are very good for fertility. And a lot of issues have come up in that particular regard. Also, there are talks that certain platforms were deliberately set up to entice Nigerians to go fight in the war front of Russia, and a lot of them were not paid and they died in the front line. That is brutal, it's not honest. And there's even a platform called Alabuga. So questions are now being raised. Who were the persons that promised those people that coming to fight for the Russian government will enable them anything? A couple of them don't even know how to fight. They're only given 2 weeks training and thrown in the front line, and they die needlessly. Family members have been calling on the Ukrainian government and the Russian government to please bring their people back home for them. A couple of them have not been able to respond to their parents. Very recently, we saw a Kenyan national who a mine was planted on his body. He was going to be used to bomb out a tunnel of their supposed enemies, and a lot of black persons who thought that the money would help their families because of the dire economic challenges in Nigeria volunteered to compulsorily go. Now, there are talks that there are influencers who enabled this. Influencers were paid as much as $50,000 to advertise these prospects, and it comes in different formats. They will tell you that, do you want to study in Russia? There are adverts. If you want to study in Russia, free school, free accommodation, if you know how to teach. If there are so many jobs coming up with the Russian front, and if you don't have a visa, they're able to prefer you solutions to all of that. You go there, and the next thing, they pitch you in the military cantonment and they put you in the war front. All of this is upcoming. The CNN and the BBC did quite an expose in that. A lot of Nigerian, Kenyan nationals were also part of this. The idea is the economic condition in their home countries led people to look for any means via the internet to travel out of the country. When it comes to Russia, apparently the means is very cheap and affordable. We're going to be looking as to how the economy had gotten to this point where people don't mind actually going to the war front to fight for another nation. And in some instances, they say the contract or the agreement, you don't necessarily, they don't give you enough time to look through it. Sometimes it's written in Russian, and if you don't have a lawyer that can help you look through it, you sign what you don't know, and they say you sign an agreement, so whatever happens to you, it's not on them, but it's on you. How is the Nigerian government working on this? Where were the Nigerian government when of these apps and influencers were going all about this? Was proper investigation carried out? There are allegations on the Ministry of Education for being part of this, for actually advertising. More exposés are coming up on this. Ladies and gentlemen, we're also going to be looking at some of the projects of this administration as to how monies have been allocated for these projects, and a couple of them have not been completed. Who should be blamed? Is it the federal government who has released monies, or those who diverted the funds? The slow progress of this work, and how come the president has not called out all those guys to do their work if the money has been released? I actually have Barrister Darlington Agumore joining us today. Barrister Darlington, good evening. How are you?
Esther.
Welcome.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm okay. In the spirit of the season, what are you supposed to say?
Happy Valentine's?
Yeah.
Is that not?
Happy Valentine.
Barrister. Are you in the Valentine mood with the season we found ourselves? With the whole Akpabio must go and the whole protest.
What concern Akpabio with love?
Okay. All right. I hear you. I hear you.
Whether you like it or not, life must go on. No?
Okay. You're very right. Barrister Darlington,
yes.
Welcome to the Evening Rush.
My pleasure.
Are you good today, Barrister?
You can see that.
Barrister, let's start off with the U.S. judge issuing a final ultimatum as the FBI and DEA stalls release of Tinubu's criminal records. I'm surprised to actually see this come up. We've heard over time that there was a team of lawyers set up in Philadelphia to actually expunge all of this, details about the president that puts him in bad light. We thought that team, based on the money given to them, has been able to work on it. The FBI and the CIA, with Aaron Greenspan, they've been able to stall the release of those records. In October 2023, when the FBI released some redacted documents, some documents where the president's name was redacted on the cases that were mentioned. The associates of the president were mentioned, but the president's name was redacted. And after that, we didn't hear anything anymore. The next thing we heard was that the president was an asset. I don't know precisely what that means. I cannot say, because President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has not responded to that statement. And then later, I think early last year, we heard about this case again. All right. But now the judge is saying that the FBI and the DEA are deliberately delaying, and that they should release it in the next 3 months. All the documents pertaining to the president should be released. So the question is, of what significance will the release of those documents be? The president is confident, and with how he has been able to be in charge of Nigeria right about now, will it make any difference whatsoever?
It will.
How?
Because during the last general election, when these issues came up, the Supreme Court said that it was brought late. That is the operating word. It came late. They did not invalidate all those documents Atiku presented. And so this time around, the opposition should bring all the documents early. They are just waiting for their primaries. And so the fireworks will start. As for the US FBI and DEA, I am not surprised. Esther,
Okay.
money is working. I'm telling you, more money is being pumped into these issues. And that is why the FBI and the DEA are delaying. They are making good money out of this issue. I don't know who is paying them, but for them to be stalling, they cannot be protecting you for nothing now. You and I know that. They cannot. Money is exchanging hands here. If not, what do they have to lose? Is it not exposed whatever they have? But they are stalling because something is going on behind closed doors. And that's the reality. But at the end of the day, the truth will come out. It will go to a point where it will become what? Inevitable. Especially when Donald Trump got to know what is going on and give an order. Give an order. So, all the money anybody is spending, it will come to nothing. The earlier you even come out and say this thing to Nigerians, apologize to them. There's nothing wrong there. Instead of all this hanky panky, it's like somebody who want to bury himself. Your hand will stick out, oh. Everybody will see your hand. That's just the truth. This thing will never go away. I've told you earlier on, Esther, this thing will never go away. Whether in or out of office, it will never go away very soon. No, it's not possible. It's not possible. That's just the reality. So with all this scandal waiting for you, how can you travel to US? How can? Because people who are saying, the president has not traveled to US, has not traveled to yes. He has a very serious issue. And these nosy journalists who have become so free and so independent in America, one of them may corner him and start asking questions that he will not even be able to answer. And that's the reality. There's no way he will go there, one nosy journalist will not corner him to extract some facts out of him. And that will embarrass him the more. So these are the issues. FBI and DEA, the earlier you listen to court order, the better. So that we can move on with our lives. Not every time when you needed something, you now raise the issue. You now make an announcement. We are going to release some documents next month too. Before that next month, a team will be dispatched to go and discuss with them. Well, Esther, the whole thing is becoming very, very messy. Very, very messy. And in a Senate climb, Esther, if an American presidential hopeful is embroiled in this type of scandal, I am very, very, very sure he would have resigned. For the sake of their name and their family, they would have resigned to avoid all this scandal. Look at UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. What sent him out of office? A minor thing of concerning COVID-19 protocol, which he couldn't keep as the Prime Minister. That was all. That was his sin. Esther, that was his greatest crime. And his own party were telling him to go away. He's a liar. So here, we don't have men of integrity running our affairs. And that is why Nigeria is where it is today. That's just the truth. Nigeria is an all-commerce affair. It's an all-commerce affair. If you can be able to muzzle your way through, if you can be able to be aggressive and violent, you will find your feet in Nigeria.
Okay, but Barrister, let's look at this, because a couple of persons are wondering why the timing, despite the protests that took place today. So, you know that the president's wife was invited for a breakfast where President Donald Trump recognized her. And in a very short interview that we saw, she said we could see that Trump recognized her. She's a true Christian. Her husband is working hard to ensure that, Nigeria's economy remains stable, fight insecurity. That's not even the only thing that, was considered in that particular scenario. The president's wife talked about the fact that more prospects are up and things are actually working, in a sense whereby for the advantage of the country or the economy, the policies of her husband has put Nigeria in a global limelight. She also mentioned the fact that the president of the United States of America did what he did on the 25th of December 2025. She made mention that in fact it's a blessing in disguise because that was the assistance that they needed. So a lot of persons are now wondering if the opposition have been quiet all this while with Nigerians complaining that things are hard, what Tinubu promised is not what he's delivering, or what his policies entail is very slow in materializing, and they're talking about the division in the polity, that maybe this could be one of the tricks. Now, for example, Atiku Abubakar was not seen in the protest today. El-Rufai has been quiet. El-Rufai has said he will speak when the time is due. Later, it was a silent threat. He has not been speaking, actually. So, with all of this that has been ruled out by the judge, asking the FBI and the DEA to honor the court deadline, and that the persistent postponement can no longer be tolerated or allowed anymore. This Aaron Greenspan is a journalist. I asked you said it will make a difference, and I've said, in what capacity will it make a difference? If they say the president is an asset and somehow he has some immunity, in what regard, in what way? And time has gone. The president's first term is almost done. So in what way will this release of the record affect anything?
It is only when the opposition raise this issue in the name of protest that it will become on the front burner of national discourse. Like this protest that is going on in Abuja now, or that just ended. They said they will resume tomorrow. If they did not raise the issue, will anybody know? Will the government in power take them serious? So all these things that are going on, these are the things the opposition need to take advantage of. You know, that's why I told you that yes, it will make a difference, because when they finish their primary and they select their different political parties, their presidential flag bearer, you will see now people will now begin to interrogate the credential and everything about that presidential candidate, and maybe that's when they got battle will start. That's what I'm telling you. If you produce something before that was bred in a serious controversy, Esther, what are you going to bring this time around? Hold on. What will you present this time? Are you going to present the same documents that caused you problem last time? And if you do not present it, won't somebody ask questions? But you gave us something last time, so where is it? So the issues will come up. Just wait until after the primaries. Issues will come up.
Okay, we should wait after the primaries.
Yes, because that's when you will now have the legal right to challenge whoever. Because right now you don't know who to challenge.
What legal right are you talking about? Are you saying that INEC would request for the president's result, whatever? How?
You are going to present something to INEC,
and you think that INEC would turn down anything from the president?
Then it is your position to interrogate it, even though you may not be a member of the
What
party.
if the president presents something other than what he presented the last time? What if in the space of 2023 and now he has gone through another institution? Possibly with a different course.
Which institution and when did he attend?
You may not know.
People
attend institutions by proxy.
By proxy.
You can do it by proxy. You can do it online. You can get a bachelor's degree in 4 years. You can get a bachelor's degree. In his case, it can be sporadic. I mean, people go for law courses and all of that stuff. So what if he presents a different document beyond what was presented in 2023? Would that stop him? Or what if he doesn't even present the document and presents his secondary school certificate like Buhari did, or primary school certificate like Buhari did?
All those things are not there, Esther. You had your guest the other day, Martin, who said the INEC form he submitted, everything was nil. Is that not true? So where are you going to bring this one now? These are issues, and like they say, you can't give what you don't have. You can't. If we have leaders who are well grounded in leadership, who know what they are doing, Esther, Nigeria will not be like this. Seriously, Nigeria will not be like this. I have looked around. I didn't see any form of administrative capacity that somebody is doing something here. Yeah, there is a man doing something here. I didn't see it. In the economy, in the polity, in religion, in security, everything is just going south. I didn't see all the so-called political strategy and whatever. I didn't see any, except using Wike to destabilize the River State. Is that what you call strategy?
Okay, so what the judge is saying now that the DEA, they are to provide Mr. Aaron Greenspan with a Vaughan index to explain the basis for redacting 50 pages and withholding 172 pages of Tinubu's records. This was what they released on October 2023. Then she's also asking the agency to submit sworn affidavits to detail page by page when the remaining documents were sent out for consultation. Also, the FBI has been ordered to file sworn statements explaining its repeated failure to meet court deadlines and directed the Bureau to release all non-exempt records related to the president. Also been instructed to submit a timetable showing how it plans to release the second batch of 500 pages by March 13 and complete the full disclosure by June 1, 2026. Is that something that the FBI can come up with to stall this? Because again, the president has his legal team to defend all of this from the judge. Something it could be based on anything whatsoever. And a couple of Nigerians have linked this to the president's frequent trips outside the country lately, that this could be one of the process of soliciting. I mean, you remember the work leave he took before he said he was before the celebration, that is October 1, that is October 1, 2025, Independence Day. After that, it didn't take long, the president traveled again all the time. I think very recent, where we heard he traveled to Abu Dhabi thereabout, but the next thing we heard, he was with one of the Ugandan presidents, where it was an AI released picture that was released at the time. We didn't see any of the pictures concerning that trip. So do we think this trip was related to any of these things with his lawyers and all of that? And despite that, we didn't hear anything forthcoming. So what can the FBI or the DEA come up with to store the release of those documents?
They will get exhausted.
Who get exhausted?
The FBI and the DEA, they will get exhausted in their shenanigans.
Really?
Yes, you know the trick they are playing. At a point, it will be exhausted, and so they will not do the needful. But I have advised Mr. President, you are not the only one who has passed through this route. I remember one Salisu Buhari who wanted to be speaker. That should be under Obasanjo. But because of age, somebody in his village now brought out his real age. Meanwhile, he was claiming another age. And when a thorough investigation was conducted, he surrendered. In fact, the late Chief Erotimi was his lawyer. You know? The man even advised him to apologize to Nigerians. And he did. He cried on national TV. He cried. Till today, does anybody remember that man and what he did? The answer is no. Because he apologized to us and then, life moved on. But whenever you have a problem like this, and you think you can sweep it under the carpet, that's how you cannot. It can never go away. I've told you this before. It will never go away. No matter how you try to, delay it, extend it, excuse it, it will never go away. That is just the truth. It would have been better if somebody had come out and said, look, whatever happens, was that of useful exuberance, this and that, people will even laugh over it. And so if you want to go back to it, people will say, Shebi, you don't apologize now. What are you talking about? But right now, something is very obvious and you are trying to put up a resistance. Something is very obvious. You don't want to agree and you think it will go away. The opposition are not doing enough. Seriously.
What more do you want them to do?
If they want, look, these are issues they should rise up against. Yes, because if APC were to, they will not miss this opportunity. They will even go to America with their protests and tell them we don't want such a person as our president. By that time, maybe they will sit up over there. That's just the truth. If they carry this protest to that court, something will happen. The shame and embarrassment will not even allow the FBI and the DEA to do any other thing to save their face. Even it may come to the president of America will say, what is all this protest all about? And when they say, what? You mean this happened in America? Oh yeah, fast, release all the documents, don't deduct anything.
But how do you think this will be perceived now that Trump is interested in Nigeria? Although it's quite surprising that the president had not met one-on-one with President Donald Trump. I mean, there were expectations that since Trump has sent delegates down here, a small team, there have been several correspondence, physical meeting. Even the team came here to meet the Nigerian security advisor, Mr. Nuhu Ribadu. And all this while, there was no meeting or at least even a photo op with Tinubu and President Donald Trump. If now Nigeria has a good relationship, all right, diplomatic relationship with the US because of insecurity, and we're seeing US officials, even if a couple of people think is a distraction with what Trump is currently facing in the US, trying to focus on foreign policies. But at least we should have seen a situation where the president is able to meet with Trump to say, we actually need you, I compliment you, I thank you for assisting us, not through designates, not through agents, not through his security advisors or minister of defense or even his wife, him, the president. So what is the problem with that? We've seen the president meet with Emmanuel Macron. We saw the president very lately. Where did he even just go to right now, where he actually fell? What's that country? Turkey, Turkey. And we've seen the president meet with all those people. So why is it difficult for the president to meet with Trump? Let's see that, yes, that relationship is firmly established.
Trump sees himself as the god on this earth, and so he chooses those he can relate with.
He chooses.
He chooses.
So you're saying that he chose not to have a meeting with?
He chooses, yes, because Esther.
On what ground?
If Trump should open his mouth today and say he want to see President Tinubu, Esther, tomorrow morning he will jump on the next flight to America.
But is that not how they do these things? I mean, there are diplomats who help to facilitate this process. Yeah,
that's what I'm telling you.
No one could facilitate it.
You don't facilitate what is not there, what you are not told. If there should be a meeting, it will be organized by the embassies and the foreign affairs people. But nobody has given such order, and it must come from Donald Trump. Do you know how many times they would have wanted to see, but it is not working? The man doesn't want to see him and all that. That's the fact. He doesn't. The way he regards and even Nigeria, to us, to Donald Trump, we are not part of the human race. That's just the truth. With what is going on here, the man will find it a hard sell to talk with your president. Because he didn't see him as being in charge here. He didn't see him as a strong person he can talk to. In international politics and diplomacy, might is right. Nations look at somebody, an equal. When they want to relate with you, they will look at you as somebody that is very close to their status. You don't see a Donald Trump, even to think of Donald Trump coming to Nigeria.
Not necessarily coming. I mean, Tinubu's wife went for a breakfast meeting very recently, and Trump actually, recognized her. So I'm saying that it means that the relationship has gotten to a point where some form of familiarity, even if it is not very close, but from a very huge distance has been created. And I'm saying that opportunity could have been seized by the president to visit. I remember when the Christian genocide thing came up, if you remember the whole controversy, when it started initially, when it was still fresh, Daniel Obala told us that they're looking for a means through which a meeting could be set up between President Tinubu and President Trump. So are we saying that all through this period of this whole Christian genocide, of the U.S. House of Rep members they set up a progress report, they set up a progress committee that looked into everything. Nigerian delegates went there. Daniel Bola visited all the media houses that you can consider and all the podcast stations to clarify some of the statements to refute some of the statements and clarify some issues that has to do with Nigeria. And in all of that, no meeting could be set up for the president to meet with Trump physically, so that at least Nigerians can have some form of certainty that indeed a relationship has purely been established. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. And that is because Donald Trump doesn't want this meeting you are talking about.
Okay.
He doesn't want it, Esther. I have told you, Trump chooses his friends. Did you remember what happened in his first comment? When Rex Tillerson, his Secretary of State, came on African tour, and they told him don't even come close to Nigeria, not to talk of entering there. The man finished his Kenya visit, and for whatever reason he sauntered into Nigeria, and Donald Trump had it and said, what? He fired the man while he was returning to America on air. He fired him. That will tell you how Donald Trump regards you. This man doesn't believe that human beings are here. I'm not joking. What name has he not called us? No, tell me, what name has he not called us? This man is irritated with how Nigeria is being run and what is going on here. In fact, he's completely angry. So how can he meet a president that is presiding over this disgraced nation, Esther? No, tell me, on what ground? What are they going to discuss? In international politics and diplomacy, is your president there? Is he there? Can he go out there and you'll be proud that yes, you have somebody talking somewhere? His speeches are not even reported most time because they don't carry any weight. And so Donald Trump will never. They can only meet maybe when UN is organizing something or another. They saw the heads of state.
Oh yes, my people, mata fugra. Well, Donald Trump meeting with President Tinubu, that is, I would say, is a disgrace to him. He cannot do it, according to what Darlington just said. And then the interview and everything, he have already said everything, starting from the first step down to this time. So he has tried, and he have speak so very well. Well, I would like to hear your comment down below. What do you think about the whole thing going on in Nigeria? Like, subscribe, and share the video to grow. Let others see things happening in the country. So thank you for watching.